In our last video, we began considering how the Sabbath command is a unique blessing designed for all who would willingly listen to God's instructions. It is more than a much-needed day of rest. It's a weekly opportunity to recenter our lives, to spiritually recharge, to spend time with our families, and most of all, to strengthen and develop our relationship with God. In giving us the Sabbath, God is blessing us with a very important gift. But that raises a question. If the Sabbath was created for us, then does it really matter which day we keep it? Would it be a problem if we decided to observe the Sabbath on a Wednesday or a Sunday or any other day of the week? As you can probably guess from the title of this video, the answer to both questions is yes, it matters. Let's consider why it matters. In our last video, we saw that the Sabbath is holy time. And when something is holy, it's been set apart for a special purpose. So that brings up another important question. Who gets to do that setting apart? Do we, as human beings, have the power to make anything holy and set apart in the eyes of God? We can set apart all the days we want. We can dedicate them to prayer and Bible study and drawing close to God, but that doesn't make them holy. That doesn't make them Sabbath days. Only God can do that. And the only day he set apart in Scripture again and again is the seventh day. That day is the Sabbath and no other. In the thousands of years the human race has been around, there have been many different calendars. How do we know that the seventh day of our week matches up with the seventh day of the creation week? Answering that is not as difficult as you might think. For starters, we have the example of Jesus Christ. He kept the Sabbath during his time on the earth. And if anyone knew when the real seventh day was, it was the Son of God. The day he observed was clearly the correct day. That's a good start. We've just narrowed the playing field down from all of human history to only the past 2,000 years. And the records for that 2,000 years are actually quite good. For example, the Catholic Encyclopedia has an informative article on general chronology, where it states, counting backwards, according to our present system, we can divide all time into weeks. And it is to be noted that in the Christian period, that's the last 2,000 years, the order of days of the week has never been interrupted. In other words, a world-spanning religion that worships on Sunday verifies that the 7-day weekly cycle has remained intact since the days Jesus walked the earth. But that's not all. During these same 2,000 years, the Jewish people in different locations around the world have continued to diligently observe the Sabbath week after week. If anyone had tried changing around the days of the week, the Jews would have noticed. That's not to say no one has ever monkeyed with the calendar. That's happened a lot through the ages. But the weekly cycle hasn't changed. What we call Tuesday has always been the third day of the week. What we call Thursday has always been the fifth day of the week. The seventh day of our week matches up with the seventh day of the Bible. That's not someone's opinion. That's an established historical fact. So what does that mean for us? Scripture tells us that the Sabbath is an identifying sign between God and his people. If we want to be included among those people, then we need to get serious about keeping the Sabbath on the day God set apart for us to keep it. God gives Christians many options in life, but choosing which day we observe as the Sabbath is not one of them. Here's what it comes down to. As we saw in the previous video, God promises blessings for those who honor his Sabbath day and keep it holy. But we have to honor it the way he wants us to honor it. And we have to keep it holy the way he wants us to keep it holy. Simply put, the blessings given for obedience require obedience. The Sabbath day is a gift for us, but that doesn't mean it belongs to us. Throughout Scripture, God calls these weekly observances my Sabbaths. Unlocking the blessing of the Sabbath hinges on us first accepting God's requirements for when and how to keep it. God rested on the seventh day. So should we. But maybe you're wondering, okay, but you keep referring to all this Old Testament stuff. What about the New Testament? Why don't we see anyone keeping the Sabbath there? In our next video, we're going to look at the example of the New Testament's most famous Sabbath keeper. His name was Jesus. We hope you'll join us in discovering what the Scripture really shows.